Cannibal Corpse, watch us or die.
Vomit the soul.
You're watching OC TV. Cannibal Corpse got together in Buffalo, New York in December of 1988. We'd already been in other bands that were similar style, you know, like thrash, death metal type bands, and we knew each other from around town. So we got together in 1988, we did a demo in 1989, and did our first album for Metal Blade Records in 1990. Since then, we've done a lot of other albums and done a lot of touring.
You know, it's good to be back in Europe.
And here we are today.
Here we are.
We originally lived in Buffalo until 1994 when The Bleeding came out. And then in the summer of 1994 we moved to Tampa, Florida. The scene in Buffalo was a good scene, you know, and it still is a pretty good death metal scene. When we play there we always have a great show. But we wanted to move to Tampa, just, I don't know, we needed a change of scenery, and we had made a lot of friends in Tampa. We also recorded at Morrisound most of the time. So Tampa seemed like a good location for us to do business from, you know what I mean? It's a good place to start a tour from. The weather's better, you know. I like cold weather sometimes, but in Buffalo you get snow for a long time, so yeah. Yeah, maybe the bad weather in Buffalo, you know, helped inspire us to make some brutal music. You never know. And maybe the hot weather, the weather is like hell in the summer in Tampa, so again, maybe that inspired some of the death metal bands from Tampa, who knows.
For us, we're fortunate to be a band for 15 years and to be able to make a career off of playing death metal, because in the whole scheme of music, death metal is a very small form of, you know, what is around in the music world. So I think it's where it's supposed to be, and it's supposed to be an underground form of music. So
you can't do something really interesting and have everybody love it. If you try to make everybody happy, you're going to make boring music. You have to just make yourself happy, and that small, narrow segment that is your fans happy, and that's when you're going to be successful, I think, is when you do something 100%. And if you do something 100%, some people will hate it totally, and some people will totally love it.
It's such an extreme form of music. I think with the aggression, the velocity of the music, the adrenaline, and of course I think the big thing is the vocals. And I really believe that it's not music for the major populace, you know.
We're happy that we never stopped. You know, I'm happy that we've just kept going and going and going and going. And there's other bands like us too that, you know, we can't have a reunion because we never quit. So I like it better that way. I think it's important for a band like us that have been around for a long time to stay brutal and show a little leadership to the younger bands, you know, because when the bands see that we can do something for 15 years, they know that there's a future for them too, if they stay brutal. It's very important. The bands that didn't stay brutal from the death metal scene are finished now, pretty much. They don't have fans anymore, they're gone. But a band like us, you know, and the other big bands like Deicide and Morbid Angel, they all stay brutal, so that, you know, we still have our fans. And I think that that's a good example for bands that are starting out. It shows them, you know, hey man, we don't have to start to sound wimpy to succeed. You can stay brutal and succeed. There's a lot of great bands out there, and I think what's really cool is that you're not seeing these bands sound the same as the bands did 10 years ago. They sound better, in my opinion. And it's going to be interesting to see just how killer death metal is going to be in another 10 years, because every band is going to begin with the idea that they should be better than the bands that they're fans of. You know, so if a band is a fan of Cannibal Corpse, they're going to make a band that's better than Cannibal Corpse, not worse. You know, so, and then the fans of those bands will make another band that's better. So I think as time goes on, this music is going to improve so much. In 20 or 30 years, it's going to be unbelievable. We like it everywhere we go, where people like our music. I gotta say, you know, France is definitely one of our favorites. We had a great show last night in Macon, and we've always had killer shows here in Toulouse, in the Toulouse area, you know, at the Bikini Club when it was still around.
I remember that well. We always looked forward to coming to the Bikini when we knew we were playing in Toulouse. It was a great club.
Any place where people like us, we're happy to play there.
You know, it's just another chapter in the story, I like to say. There's always going to be kids that are growing up that are getting into music yesterday. You know, there's always that point where one day you're not into music, the next day you are. Kind of like boys or girls. You know, you're a boy and all of a sudden the next day you're interested in girls. You know, so I think that's the same thing with music. And a lot of people might get turned on and be into death metal and into Cannibal Corpse right away.
There's not many bands that are our size or smaller that we haven't had the chance to tour with that we really like. What we would like is to open for somebody big like Slayer. We never really had the opportunity to do that. So if we could tour with Slayer or even Pantera or something, I know Pantera's finished now, but some big band like that, it would be nice, because I know that a lot of the fans of those bands, they've never been exposed to death metal before. And I think if they saw a band like Cannibal Corpse or one of the other death metal bands, that they might become interested in death metal. Just they need to be exposed to it.